Yuzuto wakes up from his deep slumber, contemplating if all of this is just a dream. In the meantime, one of his comrades informs him about some visitors, Kazuki and Inakami. They are glad to see that Yuzuto is faring well since they heard he got abducted by some crazy women. Yuzuto apologizes for worrying them as he suddenly remembers that he's supposed to undergo hellish training starting today. Seeing his dismayed expressions, Inakami comments that he seems prepared to face what's coming his way. Yuzuto expresses that despite everything, he wants to do something productive. Hearing this, Inakami wishes him luck and Kazuki also expresses his gratitude for making him realize something important. He further tells him that he'll do his best in this life as well. With this, both of them leave for the castle. Yuzuto is also glad that Kazuki and Inakami are faring well. In the meantime, Rose appears at the spot as she reminds Yuzuto that this is not a prison and that he's free to meet his friends. She then hands over a journal to him, asserting that he records his training regimen in it. After this, Yuzuto's hellish training officially begins. On the first day, Rose teaches him to feel and concentrate his mana, asserting that he'll learn to control it as well. Yuzuto comments on how easy this hellish training actually is. Following this, Rose hands him a massive book that contains information regarding this world as Yuzuto wonders if he can read this world's language. Rose assures him that he can, but Yuzuto is still not sure and gets shocked at figuring that he actually can understand everything. Rose then educates him regarding the geography of Linger Kingdom and the danger it holds. Yuzuto is then tasked with reading the entire book. Yuzuto is still shocked as to how easy this training is. Yuzuto's training on day 2 comprises of simple running. He has to keep running until his legs tore off. He cannot comprehend how this running will help him with his magic training, but he keeps running nevertheless. Even when he falls down, he gets punished by Rose, who is observing his every move. Yuzuto protests that he cannot run anymore, but Rose heals his legs immediately and instructs him to keep running. The training continues, and on the 4th day, Yuzuto gets the opportunity to run with his comrades. They keep ridiculing him for being too slow, and even though Yuzuto wants to talk back, he keeps his calm. On the 6th day, Yuzuto somehow manages to physically manifest his magic, but the harsh training still continues. Rose asserts that the more Yuzuto hates her, the harder it will get for him. This makes Yuzuto wonder if she has been reading his journal, but realizes that she can't possibly understand Japanese. The hellish training continues with Yuzuto getting his ass beaten for no reason until he manages to heal himself with his own magic. Even though he is making insane progress, Yuzuto still wonders if he'll be of any help for Inakami and Kazuki by just running around. On the 11th day, Rose adds something new to his training regimen, and that's push UPS. At this point, Yuzuto's training regime consists of running in the morning and then push-ups in the evening. As Yuzuto is performing push-ups, Rose tells her the importance of honing his body. She tells him that he needs a strong body to save his comrades on the battlefield. Things are getting slightly easier for Yuzuto, and Rose realizes this as she instructs him to tie some weights to his body. On day 14, as Yuzuto gets back from training, he notices that his lunch is missing, and it turns out one of his comrades has eaten it. This leads to an all-out brawl between them. At that point, Yuzuto realizes that he's been getting brainwashed all this time by Rose and his comrades. A week later, Inakami and Kazuki visit Yuzuto alongside some other people from the castle. Yuzuto's comrade leads him to the forest where Rose is training him. Seeing his intense training session, Inakami and Kazuki get shocked. Yuzuto is actually performing push-ups with Rose and a massive block placed on him. Rose keeps provoking him, but Yuzuto is not the type of guy to give up and even talks back to Rose. Seeing this, she places another massive block on him, but instead of giving up, Yuzuto persists and actually manages to do a push-up. Inakami and Kazuki, on the other hand, cannot comprehend that they're seeing Yuzuto. Seeing all this, the guy accompanying Inakami and Kazuki interferes with Yuzuto's training and grabs Rose by her collar. He questions if she's attempting to break a young man's spirit. In response to this, Rose addresses him as Seduced and instructs him to release her. She further asserts that she has her own training methods and that Yuzuto will ultimately become her right-hand man. This shocks both Seduced and Yuzuto. Rose further asserts that she loves the fact that Yuzuto is persistent and that he hates losing. Hearing their conversation, Yuzuto realizes that Seduced is actually doing more harm than good to his cause. After this, Seduced instructs Inakami and Kazuki to look after Celia as he wants to have a conversation with Rose. With this, Yuzuto leaves with Inakami and Kazuki as they settle down under a tree, where they inform Yuzuto that Seduced is actually the commander of Linger Kingdom's army. They also inform him that the girl accompanying them is the princess of this kingdom, and upon hearing this, Yuzuto apologizes for his ignorance and bows before her. Celia tells him that it's alright and brings out some cookies to share with everyone. As they are savoring the cookies, Kazuki comments on how harsh Yuzuto's training is, but Yuzuto disagrees, urging that he had it easy today. He then questions them regarding their training as Kazuki informs him that Seedless teaches them sword fighting and Welcome teaches them magic, further asserting that both of them are insanely caring and excellent teachers. As they are conversing, Inakami can't hold her back and forces Yuzuto to show his muscles. She even lifts his shirt to see his abs, but Yuzuto somehow manages to calm her down. Seeing all this, Kazuki questions if Yuzuto is having a hard time here, to which he replies positively. Despite all this, Yuzuto tells him that he's no longer scared of Rose, instead he's enjoying all this. This impresses Inakami, as she's glad that Yuzuto has managed to find a place where he belongs. Yuzuto is also pleased that he's doing something to help them, since they'll be fighting as heroes. Hearing this, Inakami urges Yuzuto to save him when she's in a pinch. Yuzuto then reminds him that it's far too late to be acting like a normal girl, and even Celia agrees with him. In the meantime, Tony brings Yuzuto his lunch, which pisses him off, and this leads to yet another brawl between them. Kazuki wonders if he should interfere, but Celia stops him. Seeing all this, Kazuki and the others leave for the castle to continue their training as well. Later that night, as Yuzuto is taking a bath, he notices that his muscles have matured a lot owing to Rose's harsh training. The following morning, Rose informs Yuzuto that they'll be heading out today. On their way to the gate, they come across some soldiers who seem insanely scared of Rose, who impresses Yuzuto. After leaving the town, they reach a forest known as the Darkness of Linger, which is teeming with monsters. Rose then tells Yuzuto that he's not allowed to return until he defeats a Grand Grizzly, and this shocks him. Since Yuzuto has read the entire manual on monsters, he knows how frightening these monsters are. He protests that he can't possibly take on a Grand Grizzly, but Rose insists that he's more than capable now to defeat one, and with this, she hurls him into the forest. It seems like Yuzuto's reel is now beginning. I wonder what sort of creatures will he come across, and would he be able to defeat a Grand Grizzly? Make sure to like and subscribe, so you don't miss out on anything.